In this video, we are going to draw this gear right here, and we're going to learn how to use the polar array command in order to draw this outer portion of the gear. So the first thing you're going to do is open up a new drawing, and we're going to type in units, enter, and make sure that your units are in inches. I'm going to have the precision set to 0.00. Okay. And then you are going to do your layer properties. Click layer properties, and you're going to click here to add a new layer. Our first layer is going to be objects, and we're going to have that as this, depending on your background, mine is white here, but it's going to show up as black. And then the next layer is going to be annotations. And for this layer, we're going to change our line type. So click continuous under line type. And when you add a new layer, you have to always, or a new line type in your layer, you have to click load. Then we're going to scroll down and find the center. Click OK. And then click center and click OK. Now this is your center line type. If it's not showing up in here as center and it says continuous, just click it again and make sure center is selected and click OK. All right, and then for our annotations layer, we're going to change this to a red color. Okay. And then we're going to click the objects layer and click check to make it our current layer. And then we can exit out of our layer properties. And I've already done all of this in this sheet, so I'm going to have the draw in this one so we can reference this here. All right. Oh, let me just make sure my units are the right precision. Okay. So I'm gonna another way to change your layer, you can just click this drop down and click objects. All right, and it's important to note, so I have this def points layer because I have these dimensions in here, and when you create your first dimension, this def points layer will show up. On your drawing, you're not gonna have the def points layer because you're not gonna add dimensions yet, and that's okay. Okay, so you should just have layer 0, which is the default layer. You can't delete that layer. You're gonna have annotations, and then you're gonna have objects layer. I'm going to select objects to make it my current layer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the outside of this part right here, or this gear right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I guess I'm going to click this drop down and change it to annotations layer, and I'm going to click line. And my first point is going to be 0, 0, enter. And then I'm just going to draw a line. The length doesn't matter right now. Just I'm going to make mine 5 and then tab. And this is going to be 30 degrees. Escape. So I want this to be a solid line here, not the center line type. So I'm going to click on this line and change the line type in this property. So this is the properties for the line. Change the line type to continuous. And so you can even though if you click on the line, you can see it's still in the annotations layer, but you can actually change the color and thickness and line type so that it doesn't actually match the layer properties. So if I want to change the color, I would just, click on one of these. Okay. And then I am going to, let's see here. I'm going to start drawing this portion right here. So you can see that this circle right here in this line, okay, let's see here. I'm going to draw this circle because you can see that it is the center point of this arc right there. So I'm going to end up drawing this arc first using this circle and this line. So I'm going to do the center diameter circle. You can see that the diameter is 2.5 over here. Start in the center and then 2.5, enter. Okay. And now I have from here we can see the center point of this arc. Also, now we know the center point of this arc, but we need to know the radius or diameter. And we can see that the diameter of the circle is 0.5. So we're gonna do the center diameter command, go over here and click that point right there and type in 0.5, enter. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to click on this object and change the layer to the objects layer and then hit escape to deselect. All right. And then I'm going to just change it will still remain on the annotations layer. So just click this and change it to the objects layer. So everything else that's newly drawn will be in the objects layer now. All right. So we have that. And we can see that from this line to this line is 0.5. Okay, so what I can do is I can just use this line and offset by 0.25 because this whole thing's 0.5. So from here to here is 0.25 because this is in the center. So I'm going to click offset and type in 0.25, enter. Click this line and click on over here to set it, and then click the center line and click over here to set, and then escape to end the command. Then I'm going to hit the trim command, and I'm going to trim this and this, and then I'm also going to trim, we don't need this portion here or this portion here. All right, and I'm going to click on these two lines and change them to the objects layer, escape. So we have that, this portion right here. And now we can start drawing this right here, or we can draw this arc here. So if we want to draw this one right here, we can see if you go around to find the dimension, you can see right here, this diameter 4 dimension, which just means that all of these are just a trimmed circle with a diameter of 4. So let's just draw that. I'm gonna, let's see here, diameter circle from the center, a diameter of 4, enter, okay. Then I'll go to my trim command and trim this slot here. All right, so now that is trimmed, and we'll go in here and start drawing this portion there. So when drawing this, you can see our one dimension for that portion is here. So we can see that it has a radius of 0.9, and we can see that our center point is right here. Here is the center point lays on this circle here. That's a diameter of 5.14, and by using common sense, obviously 5.14 is bigger than this diameter of 4, so we can assume that the center point is going to share the same center point as everything else in this drawing besides this arc here. So we are going to, let's change our layer to annotations just so we don't get confused. We're going to do a center diameter circle, start at the center point with a diameter of 5.14, enter. Okay, and that's going to be this outside one. And then the center point is just going to be the center, the midpoint of, let's see here. The center point is going to lay along this arc here. So why don't we go in here and draw lines? So I'm going to draw one just to the right. I'm going to turn my ortho mode on and just draw a reference line over here to the right, and then draw another reference line from the center up. Okay. And again, just because the drawing shows this, I'm going to change the line type to continuous so that it matches that. Okay. And you can also change this. I'm going to delete this circle, so it doesn't really matter, but just for your reference. Okay, so let's see here. Instead of drawing over here, we're just going to draw it over here, how we've been drawing it. And let's see here. We're going to do a center radius circle because we see 0.9. The 0.9 is going to start right here because you can see here's our right here on that circle we just drew. And it's going to be 0.9, enter. Okay. Oh, also let's change this. Click there and change it to the objects layer, escape. I'm just going to click object, so that's my current layer. Okay. And then we're going to hit trim. And trim. So now we do have this portion right here because we know that it lies on this circle here and this is the center. You could draw, if you wanted to do it up here, you could do the midpoint, but this part I've already started drawing. Okay, so then I'm going to, let's see here, I'm going to click this circle and delete it because we have this portion. I'm going to go in and do the mirror command. Mirror. I'm going to mirror this object, enter. On the opposite side, or the mirror line, I'm going to hit, okay, erase source object, no, because I want to keep it there. All right, awesome. So now I'm going to use a polar array. You can actually go in and add this part as well, mirror it. How you do this is up to you, but I'm just going to do it this way. So the next step is to add a polar array. And when I zoomed into this vent here, I noticed I didn't finish trimming. So let me just trim this first. So click trim, trim there, and trim there. Okay, escape. So again, we're going to use polar array, and instead rectangular array allows us to array in rows and columns, and the polar array allows us to array these objects in a circle here. So if you click the down arrow, last time we used rectangular array, this time we're going to use polar array. So click polar array, select objects. We're going to select these 3 objects first just to see how it works, and hit enter. Then you specify the center point of the array, so click the center, and your array manager will pop up, and the number of items that we want is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want 6 items. You specify here, if I put 8 there, it will still look like the same, but we're going to type in 6, okay, because that's how many you want, and then click close array. So we have that, and you can see once you click on one, all of them will be selected. So we can explode after we do our second array. So for the second array, you're going to click polar array and select this time these objects. Oops. And hit enter. The center point is going to be the same center point, and we want the same number as before, and you can see it finishes the outside gear. Click close array, and we are good to go there. So I'm going to click this circle and click delete because I'm not going to need it anymore. All right, so now that we have this outer portion, we just have to add these center circles here. So make sure you're in the objects layer. They are both center, or we're given diameters, so I'm going to do a center diameter circle. The center point is going to be 0, 0. Click there, and the first radius or diameter is 1. Enter. And then click the circle command again, click 0, 0, and the second diameter is 1.5, enter. And so now you have the gear shape right there, okay? And if you want to add the rest of these lines, you can just use the mirror command. So we'll mirror this one, enter, click the center, make sure ortho mode is down, no. And then we'll do that again for this line, mirror, let's see, let's click the center point and to the right here, no. Okay, and you have both of those, and you can do the same thing for these right here. Just make sure to follow the instructions. I'm just gonna delete this angled line for now, but depending on what your lab says, make sure to add all the red lines that the lab asks you for. And that is all for the gear here.